Hey guys, it's Sean from the Comics Pals. We are here live at New York Comic Con 2024. It is Saturday. There is a buzz in this room, and there is a buzz about DC All In and Absolute. And standing next to me is one of the architects behind a few of those books at DC and some stuff at Marvel that's really exciting too. I am standing next to the writer of Immortal Thor, the writer of Absolute Green Lantern, the writer of Metamorpho, Mr. Al Ewing. It is so good to be with you physically for the first time.
Yeah, it is good to be here. It's always fun to be in New York. The con I kind of dip in and out of. As usual, I'm not tabling. One day I will. But as usual, I'm not. I'm like a magical creature. If you catch me, you can get 3 wishes.
Well, I feel lucky to have caught you today. And my first wish,
Okay.
my first wish is to talk a little bit about DC's Absolute Green Lantern.
Yeah, I had a thing on the panel yesterday, which is the less you know, the better, because part of it is a book about the unknown. The big thing here is that nobody knows what the Green Lantern is. It's not in the regular DC universe. Green Lantern is like a known thing all over Earth. Everybody sees that symbol. They know, oh, it's one of those space cops with the rings. No space cops, no rings, no lanterns.
Wow.
What is the Green Lantern? It's an enormous object that has fallen on a town. And everybody saw that image yesterday.
Yeah.
So, or I wouldn't even tell you that much. But, like, the Green Lantern is the object, and what does it mean? What does it mean when, like, an alien being comes to your planet, and is it even the law that being is dictated, or is it something else? It's very much me with my, I'm repeating myself a little here, but it's me with my sort of cosmic horror hat on.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sort of doing my thing again where I have a lot of thoughts about religion and the nature of God, and I bring that into the work, and it's one of those books where I'm trying to grapple with those big questions, and I do that a lot. I've done that before. I'm doing it again, because, you know, these questions, I still haven't answered them to my satisfaction.
Right.
So yeah, I'm maybe Absolute Green Lantern is the one that's going to do it. Maybe this is where we solve God, everybody.
Well, that's a big enough reason to read. Forget about the Green Lantern of it all. We need to know if Al is going to be able to solve God. And I was a big fan. I am a big fan of We Only Find Them When They're Dead.
Another of those.
Which is a big book. You guys should buy it. To me, honestly, criminally underrated. I thought it was absolutely unbelievable. And it feels like you're bringing some of those sensibilities to this.
That became a book where I ended up having a lot of fun with, like, the long arc of history. And me and Simone, we'd back and forth about, like, what happened in this fictional universe. And he'd sort of apply that to, like, fashion and architecture and decor and all of the visual elements. And I was sort of working out, like, the politics of it, how these vast galactic factions had kind of split off from each other and gone into combat. So, like, you know, the complete edition of that is out from Boom if you want to pick it up. I saw it in Midtown earlier in the week.
Oh.
He segued seamlessly into a plug. Yeah, please buy one. I do get a piece of money from that if you do.
And I highly recommend it. It's a tremendous comic.
Thank you. I had a lot of fun. There's similar things. There's similar things of, like, unknowable beings, unknowability, the unknown, the kind of trying to work out, like, I think it's important that, like, readers should come into this with no preconceptions of what a Green Lantern might be. So you can just hear it from the characters themselves as they attempt to reconcile with what this is that has happened to them when the story begins. In issue 1, we kind of join Hal Jordan in the immediate aftermath of an event.
Ooh.
And, you know, and we'll get flashbacks to that event as we go, but that's really, you know, that's literally just to get you to pick up the book and open it, and from there you're on your own.
Okay, all right. Well, so you can't tell us too much about what the book is about,
Right.
but can you talk about why Sojourner was chosen. Sojourner is a newer Green Lantern. She was introduced in Far Sector.
Yeah.
She's one of my favorites, a really fresh character. And it's exciting to me as a fan that you are going to be playing with that character in Absolute. But can you talk at all about why you chose her to be the sort of character here?
Yeah, basically, originally I was thinking like John Stewart would be the lead. And my conception of John in this book is, he's pushing 40. He's an older guy, and I just thought like, do I want to write a book about an old man? And then I was like, because I'm an old man and I'm not that interesting. So like, and I had looked through the Green Lanterns, and somebody really hopped out at me because I'd read like Far Sector recently, and that's fantastic.
Yeah.
You've got to pick that up.
Oh yeah.
And I read that, and I thought, man, this is a really interesting character. I'd like to sort of take this person and sort of give them a similar but different life, and then sort of, this is the person who's going to have the green power, and is going to be the main character of the book, around whom people revolve. Mm-hmm. And it just seemed right. It just seemed like she was the one. So like. And, people do love to see Hal, so Hal is also a big part of it.
Sure.
And John is a big part of it still. And they all have their roles to play. Guy Gardner will be there. There are other Lanterns I want to bring in supporting roles. I've got an idea for where, like, Alan Scott is in the story.
Oh,
also,
boy.
I want to do stuff with characters who are classically unrelated to Green Lantern, who you would, like, not see in a Green Lantern book unless it was like some major crossover where like all the heroes were there. But like, so other people's supporting cast might show up, and that'll be like a little surprise when they do. And I'm really skating close to the edge of dictating some spoilers now. So
okay, so we'll pull back from that.
Yeah.
I brought up We Only Find Them Where They're Dead because that is an indie book that felt to me like Al Ewing Unleashed. And the Absolute universe seems like it's bringing in some of those sensibilities of the more like indie and even like Hayden Sherman's involvement. It's bringing those indie sensibilities in. What attracted you to want to be a part of this launch?
I mean, Scott basically, when I was sort of making inroads, overtures to DC about like, hey, I'm getting out of my exclusive. I'd like to broaden my horizons a little. Do you have anything for me? That was kind of when Scott sort of approached me as like, hey, do you want to be part of my thing that I'm building? The Absolute thing. And it was like, can you pitch something? And I had two ideas, and one of them we didn't go with because it was so bare bones it wasn't even a FEMA. There was like nothing there, it was dust there. But the other was much more solid and much more kind of, and that was Green Lantern. That all came into my head as like, once the book is out, I'll talk more freely about the influences. But like, there's some sort of biblical influences in there. There's a bunch of stuff. But I had this thing, and this was like, and I was thinking like, I guess the brief I gave myself was like, what if I was inventing Green Lantern today?
Oh man.
And it was like, well, it'd be really frightening because nobody would know what the hell this green stuff was. And you look back at the very first like Alan Scott stuff, and it's like weird talking lamps. It's like screaming flames. It's people in like, it's a Golden Age comic. It's weird as hell.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm almost bringing that sensibility like right from the Golden Age to the modern day, and like also kind of making a book that's like right for now. For like we're in some quite scary times at the minute. It's like, let's have a scary book.
Yeah.
And then Metamorpho is like, okay, put down your Green Lantern, pick up some Metamorpho and like chill and calm down, and like just take your mind off it for a while.
Well, you mentioned how you're making the transition from your Marvel exclusive to sort of broaden your horizons.
Yeah. I'm not gone from Marvel by any means.
Right, and Immortal Thor is still going, and I'm absolutely loving it. It's a phenomenal comic book, and you're playing with incredible stuff over there.
We are in for the long haul with Thor.
And that is exciting to hear. We've actually had our audience asking questions about whether or not you're leaving the series, and I always tell them we have no reason to believe you are.
No, we got a long form plan for Thor. I said, like, when I first pitched it to Will, I was like, I think this is 50 issues. Now I almost think it might be more than that.
Oh.
I think we might have to go past that. But I'll have a clearer idea about that when I'm around issue 30 or 35. But like, basically, we've got the next, I want to say next 2 years, like, planned out. Very much kind of rolling with the punches of the various other things that are happening in the Marvel Universe, but also staying true to the story we want to tell with Thor.
Yeah.
I think Thor fans, I don't know, I hope they're going to like it. I think they're definitely going to be, I will have their attention. And, you know, all I can say is if the roller coaster might feel a little scary for a while, you know, trust that we're going to take you through some loops and some bends, and we will eventually bring you to a lovely destination. But yeah, it's going to get scary. You're going to be reading this book going like, oh my God, Thor's having a terrible time. oh my goodness, how could you do this to Thor?
You're going to have some angry people.
Well, maybe. We're not planning to treat him well, but like in a loving way, in a way where Thor can take it. He's Thor. The mighty Thor can take. I treat heroes badly because they can take it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna knock Thor around a little bit.
Okay.
But you're gonna see who Thor is as a result. You're gonna see the core of Thor.
I love. We've seen the Thor core. Now we're gonna see the core of Thor. I love it. Yeah. I love it. So you're dipping your toes into the DC pool, so to speak.
Yes.
Metamorpho feels like an Al Ewing book.
I'll tell you how that came to be. When I was first chatting with DC, we were sort of back and forthing about like, well, what DC characters are you interested in? And I was sort of going, well, you know, the biggies obviously, but also I love all these sort of weird little guys from like the 70s, and you know, I really like that the Danger Street mini that just happened. You know, I thought that was a lot of fun, and it was like DC's got such a deep bench. There's so much like and I've been like pulling stuff out of the bottom of the toy box for Marvel for years. I want to do that with DC now.
Right.
But we were in the middle of this conversation, and Katie Kubert, who was there, was like, "Hey, I know who you'd be good on, like Metamorpho," and I just like, "Metamorpho? I can do a Metamorpho book." And I was like, instantly, it was like, yeah. No, I'm doing that now. That's happening. And it was like, no, and because I'm a huge fan of like Bob Haney, all of Bob Haney's work, all of Ramona Fredon's work, all of the Aquaman stuff, all of that amazing. And Metamorpho is like the meeting point where these two geniuses of the field and the form came together and like created something so perfect. And it's like, it's the perfect sitcom, it's the perfect like superhero, it's like this wonderful kind of beautiful moment that lasted quite a while in terms of like, it went for like 17 issues. That's, more than some things go back.
Oh, yeah.
But like, and what I'm doing now is I'm kind of going back and I'm sort of, so the solicit for issue 2 just came out and like the Mad Mod is making an appearance.
Right.
So I'm reaching into that Haney toy box and I'm bringing in like all the old kind of, I'm bringing in all the old Bob Haney people. I've got ideas, every time I remember a new Bob Haney thing, and like Ramona Fredon as well, like, I really want to kind of just bring in all these people who are sort of spiritually friends of Metamorpho.
Sure.
To be in the Metamorpho book. So the Mad Mod is like the first of those, the first appearance. And then I think beyond that we haven't had solicit, so I can't be too...
It's fair.
But issue 3 is... it's got some secret agent stuff, and it's called The Man from JAVA.
Okay.
So,
okay.
It's Jova in a tuxedo. is all I'm willing to reveal at this point.
That is very exciting. What strikes me about you is that you have this incredible wealth of knowledge and respect for not just one particular company, but for comics as a whole. And I think that always comes through in what you do.
It comes from a place of love. I have a very, very deep love for like the medium and the history. Weirdly, my brother at the minute is kind of a music critic, and he recently got into like a sort of comics historian thing.
Oh, wow.
And he just did like, if you look up like Freaky Trigger, that's where his stuff is.
Okay, good plug.
If you, but he did like, he read through like all of Cerebus and like tried to make sense of it. And, you know, spoke about that in the context of like, you know, the rise and fall. But also now he's doing 2000 AD, which is the comic we both kind of grew up on.
Oh, wow.
And he's taking it year by year, like story by story, and it's great stuff. But this is, we're both sort of, you know, I kind of approach comics writing like a comics historian. So I'm sort of thinking about like, when I write Thor, I'm thinking about like Thor through the years and sort of, like recently we just started a story where we bring back all of, as many of Thor's original villains as will fit in the, you know, not like the communists.
Yeah.
There are a lot of communists. We can't really include them, but like Radioactive Man is here. You know, he can represent all the other communists. But like, it's Radioactive Man. It's the Cobra Mr. Hyde. It's the Grey Gargoyle. And I was thinking like, let's take all of Thor's early foes and like turn them into a team, and kind of have them take on Thor and have them like win a little bit because they're kind of, you know, these were like people Thor dealt with like in a kind of done in one, you know, usually very simply after having like solved the problem of the week. But like, actually, if you put them all together, they're a big threat. You could really, and you know, you can make them like a pantheon of earthly gods.
Sure.
But that kind of came from like, we need to, while we're advancing this bit of the plot, I think Thor needs to be in a few battles. Who can he fight? Oh, let's go right back into the history and grab some people. I'm always thinking about that. I'm always thinking about like the history of the industry and the sort of the histories of the characters, both in terms of like continuity and sort of almost treating the publication history as like a larger continuity.
I think that is one of the reasons why your work connects with people from all generations.
Well, thank you.
Because absolutely, you're with, just as that example of Immortal Thor, you're bringing characters forward through time who maybe haven't been seen or used too much, but you're bringing them into a modern era, and older fans will be able to appreciate that, who remember those stories, but then someone like me who may not have read them can appreciate because you're bringing them forward with your, you know, take.
Well, thank you. I mean, that's good to hear. It's like, obviously, what I try to do with anything I write is like, reach as many people as possible, like write a book that people will enjoy, obviously, you know, without like compromising too much. I want to do what I want to do. I want to tell the stories I want to tell. But like, it's very gratifying when those stories hit all of these different people in all of these different places. That always feels good.
Well, Al, we don't want to take up too much of your time.
Thank you.
You're always so gracious to us with your time. You know, you do our podcast, so we really appreciate you for that. It's been a pleasure running into you here at the con. Make sure that you guys stay on the lookout for Absolute Green Lantern and Metamorpho. I want to say Absolute Green Lantern is 2025.
It's March of 2025. Metamorpho is our Christmas present to you.
Yes.
It's coming out on the 25th of December, which will obviously be referred to as Metamorpho Day, and people will be getting together with their families, having feasts, giving gifts, all in honor of Metamorpho. Truly, the reason for the season. I don't mean any of that. Please don't. Please don't attack me.
I know where I'm going to be on that day, and that is in my LCS, grabbing a copy of Metamorpho. I highly recommend you do the same. Thank you so much, Al, for your time. I'm Sean from the Comics Pals. We'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.